What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. Over the weekend, Marvel Studios was promoting the Fantastic Four big time at CCXP over in Mexico. During these promotions and during their panel at CCXP, they showed brand new footage of the Fantastic Four First Steps. This was not another trailer or any type of new sizzle reel, but this was an actual scene from the movie. Some of you might have heard about this scene already. However, it's a lot bigger than a lot of people realize. This scene pretty much tells us the main plot point of the Fantastic Four First Steps, but it also gives us a huge insight as to what Marvel Studios is planning for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and it even kind of confirms something that we've been talking about on the channel for a pretty long time. Now, they didn't allow any filming of the footage. They could film right up to it and then they had to put their phones up, but luckily for us, the outlet Omelette, great outlet who we've talked about many times on the channel, was there and they gave us a great description on what was shown. And this really tells us right here what the Fantastic Four is really about. It even confirms a certain part of the plot synopsis that Marvel has officially given us. Their description reads, "Friends, exclusive scene, spectacular, breathtaking. The Fantastic Four are inside their ship, and Sue is starting to go into labor. But the Silver Surfer is chasing them. Ben takes over the ship and starts trying to dodge her. They jump into a kind of hyperspace. The CGI is great. We see Reed stretching and using his powers. The Surfer almost reaches Sue's belly. She wants the baby. Johnny takes over the ship's cannons and tries to shoot the Surfer. He makes jokes about her being sexy. Meanwhile, Sue continues to have contractions. Reed tells Ben to go into a black hole. Ben gets worried. Reed tells him to trust. End of scene." Epic. It was crazy. And that certainly does sound like a pretty epic scene, but there is a lot to break down here. For example, a lot of people have been really upset lately because they thought that Marvel Studios was really changing Johnny Storm and that they were maybe making him kind of woke and maybe not really making him a ladies' man. But the fact that he's mentioning the Silver Surfer is sexy while also trying to shoot her should bring people comfort that they're really not changing him that much, because what we just heard is very in line with how Johnny Storm is. So to further understand the importance of this scene, let's go back to the official plot synopsis that Marvel Studios released. It says, set against the vibrant backdrop of the 1960s inspired retro futuristic world, the Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm, as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. And if Galactus's plan to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. And that part right there is the important part. It suddenly gets very personal with Galactus, and we can clearly see here by this scene that is being described to us, the scene that was shown at CCXP. Galactus wants their son. Galactus wants Franklin Richards. This is what we expected, but it's also very interesting that we're learning the Silver Surfer is chasing them, wanting to get Franklin Richards before he's even born. They say in this scene, she's giving birth, but the Silver Surfer is chasing them, trying to get her son, trying to get Franklin. And this footage has been confirmed by multiple people who were in attendance there at CCXP. This is what was shown. So what this means is Galactus can sense Franklin's powers even before he is actually born. And that makes sense because he is one of the most powerful Marvel characters to ever exist. And it is quite possible that a future version of Franklin could be shown in the Fantastic Four First Steps, and that could be perhaps how Galactus knows about how powerful he is and about what abilities he possesses. Because in the comics, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be in the MCU as well, Franklin's powers are the ability to create universes. And for somebody like Galactus who constantly needs to feed on life energy, you could see how somebody who has the ability to create literal universes would be pretty useful to you. He might even want him to be a future herald of his. It also makes you wonder what happens after the Fantastic Four go into that black hole. If you take a look at a lot of the footage that we've seen so far via the trailers for the Fantastic Four, it all seemingly takes place within a certain time period of the movie, probably towards the beginning of the film. Going into a black hole could take them into another universe, and we might spend time in that universe. And considering that we're getting pretty close to Avengers Doomsday, well, less close now, but before, as it was, the Fantastic Four was going to be the last film film before Avengers Doomsday. So going into Doomsday, going into a big multiversal story, the Fantastic Four being in another universe and going to another universe as well makes a lot of sense to show. In fact, this makes you wonder about the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts. Was that the Fantastic Four truly coming to our universe, or do they leave again back to their universe? I'm assuming what we saw in the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts was them coming into our universe permanently, because obviously they have to team up with the Avengers and the Thunderbolts and the X-Men, etc. But I believe they'll probably figure out how to multiverse jump based on going in that initial black hole. That might be how Reed Richards discovers how to multiverse travel, but you can drop your theories about that in the comments down below. Now, another thing that is very important to talk about regarding Reed and Sue's son, Franklin Richards, is not only the fact that it really does seem like the main plot of the Fantastic Four revolves around Franklin Richards, but I think ultimately Franklin is going to go on to be the multiverse's savior at the end of Avengers Secret Wars. This is something that we've been talking about for a while now, but this scene pretty much confirms that Franklin Richards is a really big deal. And we have comics to reference to know why. We know what he can do. And based on those comics again, we know pretty much what is going to come, especially after seeing concept art leaked from Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. What we believe is coming is Battleworld, with God Emperor Doom ruling over it, which also would come the destruction of the entire multiverse. We also just recently heard from insider Daniel RPK that the Void is going to play a really big role in the Avengers films. I believe that the Void is probably going to be our Battleworld. Cassandra Nova said in Deadpool and Wolverine that she was going to eliminate every single universe out there in the multiverse until there was nothing left but the Void. So when the multiverse gets destroyed in its entirety, the only thing that is going to be left is the Void, in which I believe Doctor Doom will rule over. But ultimately, we believe that the Avengers will triumph over Doctor Doom and eventually defeat him. But that still leaves us with one question. How do we restore the multiverse, or even just a single universe? Well, that's where Franklin comes in. Now, it does seem like we might have some time jumps in the Fantastic Four. We literally have toy leaks of Sue Storm with Franklin when he's a baby. We also have that leaked concept art as well that show us Franklin being able to crawl around. So he's clearly not just born in some of these scenes that we're going to see in the Fantastic Four first steps. He'll be grown a little bit, maybe about a year, or they could even jump forward to where he could even possibly be around 3, 4, 5 years old. In the leaked concept art, he is standing next to his mother, who is also standing next to Doctor Doom sitting in his throne, but he is standing next to her and he looks like he's a pretty decent age here. Looks like he might be 10 or older. So some of that time jump might come from the Fantastic Four first steps, but it also might come between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Much like we had a 5-year time jump in Avengers Endgame, we'll probably have one here as well. But in the comics, when they finally do defeat Doctor Doom, Molecule Man, Franklin Richards, and Mr. Fantastic restore the multiverse, universe by universe. Valeria Richards, the daughter of Sue Storm and Reed Richards, and sister to Franklin, of course, explains to her mother that Franklin is a universal shaper. He builds whole universes, and then Mr. Fantastic, with the help of Molecule Man, sends them out into a separate universe, creating, once again, a multiverse. And I believe that that's exactly why they are bringing in Franklin Richards so early into the Fantastic Four story in the MCU. Because in Avengers Doomsday, at the very end, or in the beginning of Avengers Secret Wars, they plan on destroying the multiverse. All that will be left is Battleworld, and Doom will be the ruler of it. But of course, they'll eventually defeat him, and then we go into that soft reboot talk that we've been hearing about for a while. That soft reboot comes because literal new universes are being created. And we already know the new one that we're going into post-Secret Wars is going to include the X-Men and the Fantastic Four with our Avengers team, and possibly even new variants of characters that we've known and loved over time, like Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff. We could be getting a new Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow. We'll have to see, but Franklin is going to be the key, which is why there's such a big focus on him in the Fantastic Four first steps, such a big focus that Galactus even wants him for himself. So go ahead and let me know what you think about this scene and the importance of Franklin Richards in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all things with the MCU. And you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.